To the commandos, the heavy water plant appeared impervious to attack. To reach the factory, the saboteurs had to cross a deep, narrow gorge. There was only one road in, over a suspension bridge. And the bridge was patrolled 24 hours a day by German soldiers. Any direct assault would be doomed. But the chasm itself, with its steep, icy wall, lay unguarded.
Some of us said we thought it was rather impossible to cross that gorge, but it was decided that one should go down and find out. In daylight, I went down into the valley. I climbed down the gorge, crossed the river, and started climbing up on the other side. And then the same way back, up to my friends up in the mountains, and told the facts that it was possible to cross the gorge.
You felt that this may be serious, very serious for you, and you accepted that you might not come through. And we climbed down the river and up on the other side, and our plan was to get in position for the attack by 11:30, because at 12 o'clock at night there was a guard shift down on the suspension bridge. We wanted to see the German guards being relieved, coming up in the factory area and enter the barracks before we went inside.
We all thought we would be discovered when we forced the gate, but nothing happened.
Two of us carried a full set of charges. In case one should be shot, there should always be reserve.
The task for the demolition team, to attach explosives to the heavy water cells located in a basement room. Meanwhile, their comrades on lookout waited. Each passing moment increased the chance of discovery.
If we had been discovered, I knew that during such circumstances, you will have to act. So they shoot. If a shot would, of course, maybe spoil the whole operation.
Inside, they overpowered a Norwegian workman. Holding him at gunpoint, the saboteurs placed their charges, pausing only to decide how much time they would need to escape before the blast. Suddenly, they were interrupted by their captive.
He broke in and said, "It's all right, you may blow the factory, that's all right, but may I have my glasses, because it's hopeless to get no glasses in Norway today." And you would have thought that you probably said, "Damn your glasses, you have no time for looking for glasses." But instead you dropped what you were doing and you searched all around the room, and you found the holster for his glasses and gave him, and he said, "Thank you very much." And so we went on with taping the fuses.
So far, they had beaten the odds. Now the commandos had only seconds to make their escape.
And after a few minutes, 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, they were there with us on the railway line. And we ran the same way back as we had come in.
The road road condition and the snow condition were excellent, because on the railway quite a lot of the snow had blown away on the outer side, and that was frozen solid ground, and we didn't put a mark. So everything is on our side.
With determination, skill, and daring, the saboteurs had dealt a crippling blow to their enemy without losing a man. But heavy water had become a German priority, and within 6 months, the factory was back in operation. The Allies had to assume the worst. Nazi scientists were closer than ever to building a bomb. Another attack on the factory was set in motion. This time, from the air. In a bold noonday raid, 176 American bombers hurled destruction at the plant. The raid damaged factory buildings and killed civilians in a nearby shelter. But the heavy water, secured in the basement, went untouched. With production halted, the Germans decided to move the operation to the safety of the fatherland, and inadvertently gave the commandos one last chance to destroy it forever.
We had got information from London that the Germans had planned to take down the remaining heavy water.
Team members secretly scouted the route. The heavy water would be loaded onto railway cars and taken by train to Lake Tinsha. Here, the cars would go aboard a passenger ferry for the 2-hour trip across the lake. A well-placed charge could sink the ferry, and with it, all the heavy water. But sinking a public ferry meant paying a terrible price.
Our conclusion was that the sinking of the ferry was about the only possible solution. It would have to be civilian sabotage, which was naturally a very serious thing to deal with. There was no doubt in our mind that there were going to be human lives taken. And furthermore, it could be anybody. And Rjukan was a small town, and it was really almost like all family.
Fearing neighbors and friends might die, the Norwegians sent an urgent message to London. The British reply was immediate and uncompromising.
It has been talked over, and the conclusion is the heavy water has to be destroyed. Good luck. And when you get such a message from London, you have to do it.
Not to be drastic, but anybody in my family was scheduled to go on that ferry. I couldn't do anything about it.
The Germans never put any guards on the ferry. They were watching the barrels on the railway. But the ferryboat itself was not guarded at all.
At 10 o'clock on a quiet Sunday morning, the ferryman cast off from the dock on schedule. "45 minutes later, at the appointed spot, a blast tore through the bottom of the boat.
It was a very, very hard blow, and the ferry rapidly rose. And the cargo on the ferry, they were railway wagons, you see, so they rushed down and tilted the ferry still more.
Within moments, the mortally damaged ferry had sunk beneath the surface, carrying with it innocent passengers and Nazi Germany's atomic ambitions.
The heavy water being on board went down with the ship, and it's still on the bottom of the Tinsha Lake.
Later, the Allies would learn that the Nazis were never close to an atomic breakthrough. The U.S. won the A-bomb race. Within months of the German defeat, America dropped the first atomic bomb. But in the Allies' hands, the bomb helped to win a war, not perpetuate one. If Hitler had the bomb, he might have used it to devastate the world. The Norwegian resistance fighters did their part to stop him. Their mission was one of the greatest feats of sabotage in military history, something that had to be done at all costs, and was.
You have to fight for your freedom and for peace. It's not something that you have every day. You have to fight for it every day to keep it. It's like a glass bowl. It's very easy to break. It's easy to lose.
Half a world away, on December 7th, 1941, Americans learned the cost of freedom when Japan devastated Pearl Harbor. That sneak attack included the stealth weapons of their day, midget submarines. They were sleek, deadly, and until now, consigned to history. The National Park Service and the U.S. Navy have searched for the wreck of a Japanese midget submarine. An hour before the Japanese savaged Pearl Harbor, a U.S. destroyer sank the tiny vessel. The encounter could have warned American forces that bombs and torpedoes were about to rain on Battleship Row, but it did not.
Now hold that, shift her around.
Marine archaeologist Dan Lenehan directed the hunt for the midget sub. Jim Delgado was the project's historian. Their collaboration grew out of earlier research below the surface of Pearl Harbor.